Hi there. All right, gonna do another reply. This is a reply to what's Black Mancer, or is it Black Man Sir, or Black Man CER? I don't know. You kids with your screen names and your, I'm just not hip to it. Sorry. All right, so Black Mancer is what it looks like. So that's what I'm gonna say. If it's wrong, I apologize. Sorry. The video I did was called Almost Vegan. And it was just like a 2 or 3 minute conversation with this just delightful lady. She's been considering the whole vegan thing for a while, and she had a conversation with somebody prior to me, and she really seemed like she was so happy that I just had to post it. It wasn't like we weren't convincing her of anything she didn't already believe. I think if anything, we were just a little bit of a spark to ignite a fire that hopefully she reacted to later. So either way, she was an absolute sweetheart. So I posted the video, and then I get this post from Black Mancer. And dude, I'm assuming you're a guy because it's Black Man, not Black Woman, or Blackman. Maybe your last name's Blackman. I don't know. Whatever. You just peed all over her cornflakes, man. That was just rude. I mean, your whole post was just mean. Like, why you want to be like that? Later on in your post, you say something, you say God's creation, and you put it in quotes. So that gives me the impression you're not a Christian, because you're going, yeah, blah, 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 God's creation. Yeah, I do believe it's God's creation. I do believe God created everything. And when you put it in quotes like that, that's something I wouldn't do, because it's just not the way Christians talk. So I'm going to assume you're not. Again, if I'm wrong, apologies. I am only going off this one post that you made. So, if I make the error, it's not to be mean. It's just I don't have enough information to go on. Enough of that. Okay. Let's start with what you wrote. I think the ethics angle is hilarious. Period. All right. The ethics angle. I don't know, but I think you're referring to what I said in the video, where I said I went vegan for religious reasons or ethical reasons. That if I could get food that's made from animal abuse or food that isn't, as a Christian or as a believer in God, I have to choose the food that isn't. If animal abuse was all I had, if this was the first century Palestine, and I'm hanging with Jesus and his posse, and all we had was fish from the Sea of Galilee, I'd be eating fish. I wouldn't be having this argument. But this is 2025. Where this video was done on Fremont Street in Las Vegas, I think I even pointed out there was a half a dozen fully vegan restaurants in that area that anybody could go to anytime. Jesus didn't have that opportunity. So I have a responsibility, and that's to take what I have in this 21st century life that we have and do what I can to show God's love and mercy and compassion to those that are, let's just say, weaker. Okay? Let's move on from there. All right. You think the angle is hilarious. Why is it hilarious? What is so funny about not wanting to abuse animals? I don't get that. All right, I'm just going to move on. You don't want to eat things that have the ability to vocalize and seem all cute and cuddly. I sit there and go, how dare you? How dare you assume something? I said nothing to the sort. All right? It's like, you don't want to eat things. No. You don't want to eat things that have the ability to vocalize and seem all cute and cuddly. No, I don't want to eat things that feel pain and suffering. All right? In my book, I make a point where, like, if I was to eat an animal, I mean, if I'm walking around in a place called Cowland and a 25-year-old cow just drops over dead because that's approximately the lifespan that God gave it, I might consider having a cheeseburger then. Well, you can't get a cheeseburger from just a cow. A burger, a hamburger. All right, you get the idea. All right, but I'm not going to kill something when it's 100% unnecessary for my survival. I don't have to. All right, enough of the Cowland story. But their ability to vocalize and seem all cute and cuddly, you know what? That's not the reason. Even if they don't vocalize. Fish don't vocalize their suffering, and I still don't eat them because they feel pain. This isn't a matter of sentience. This is a matter of justice. This is a matter of doing the right thing. This has nothing to do with not killing an animal because they're cute and cuddly. Where do you get that idea? All right. It says, but other forms of God's creation, I like doing that. Okay? God's creation, like plants, well, that's okay because we can't hear the death. Okay. No. The reason I eat plants is because in Genesis chapter 1, again, I'm a Christian, don't know if you are, but in Genesis chapter 1, God's perfect world was vegan. Okay, Genesis 1:29 and 1:30, we got the whole beginning of the world, and twice God took time aside to say, I want you guys to be vegan, and that will be very good. Read Genesis chapter 1. It's only 31 verses, starting in verse 1 to 31. It's vegan, 100%. All right, so it has nothing to do with being able to hear them. And as for whether or not plants can scream, I think that's what, like plants, well, that's okay because we can't hear the death. I think you mean the death of the plants. No, plants don't have a soul life, a God-breathed life into them that he gave humans and animals only. You got to get... You got to get into Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 to understand that fully. Okay, God breathed the breath of life into humans. He breathed the same breath of life into animals. He did not breathe that into plants. As a matter of fact, he lists them separately when he says he gave plants as food for the things that have nephesh, that have souls. Also ignoring the fact, I'm not ignoring anything, man. I'm dealing with you right now. What did I ignore in that 3-minute conversation with this lovely lady that was going to encourage her to be compassionate to animals? What's your problem with that? I'm not ignoring, also ignoring the fact that animals eat other animals all day, every day, whether it's on the plains of the savannah or deep in the jungle, LOL. I'm not ignoring that. Again, I look at this because I'm a Christian, and God gave us a world that he said was very good, and there was no death. That was in Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 3, sin and death entered the world, and now we lived in a world that's cursed. If we go into Genesis chapter 6, you can hear that the fear and the dread of animals will now be on humans, and now be on animals of humans. Once that we lived peacefully, we cohabited like every animal, lions, tigers, elephants. They could have been like the way like a puppy dog is kept. I mean, we don't know, but I mean, that's the kind of thing that the Bible almost implies. No, I'm not ignoring that animals eat other animals. But when we get to Genesis chapter 3, right over here, when sin and death, we now live in a cursed environment. Okay? I can't drive my car without killing an insect. I can't, this is just the way it is. But that, just because we can't be perfect doesn't mean I'm not going to make every effort I can to eliminate needless suffering. And isn't that what God wants us to do? I mean, what is so hard for non-vegans to understand about being compassionate, even if you're not a Christian fanatic like I am? Okay? You could be a devil worshiper. Well, maybe you're not a devil worshiper. Bad choice. You could be any other faith. It doesn't matter. You could be agnostic. You could be, I don't have a faith. You could be, I lack belief, or whatever you want to phrase it. What is wrong with showing compassion and mercy? Think about it. The Bible over and over says, show mercy. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do a biblical example. Never mind, scratch that. Let's go back to where we were. Okay. So no, I'm not ignoring the fact that animals eat animals. I'm not an animal. I have a brain that, if I understand right, depending on your parameters, the human brain's pretty superior. Okay, of course, we can't really survive out in the wild the way animals would, but, in many ways, the human brain's superior. And that gives me the ability to think that, wow, I don't have to hurt something. So I won't. How's that? I'm trying to look at it from a secular point of view with the whole superior thing. Maybe I didn't get that across right. Maybe I did. I don't care. I'm going to move on because you're just so mean that I don't really want to go too much into it. Well, I guess I do. Yeah, I do. That's why I'm making this video. All right. Oh, and after the LOL, that right there, just shows me the character of person you are. I feel like I'm being mean saying that to you, but you drew first blood. You started it. Vegans are children in adult bodies. That's not so bad, because I think all you're doing is saying vegans are immature. Okay, call vegans name. But you take it a step farther. You say vegans are children in adult bodies, much like women. Are you saying women are immature? Do you really think that? Is that really what? I'm like, what kind of chucklehead would write something like that? No, you can't make a blanket statement like that about women. That's just, come on. That's just, I don't even know. Do I even have to comment? You know what? I think if anybody else reads it, I'll let them comment on it, because I don't want to get into it with you on there. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Sure, I can. As long as it's a vegan cake and not contain, something that comes out of a chicken's butthole, or the products that are squeezed out of a cow that was originally meant for a calf that was put into a veal crate and shot in the head just so you can have a little bit of cake. See, there's vegan cake and it tastes awesome. You have no idea what you're missing. I could serve you Mr. Blackman, sir, Miss Blackman, sir, Bliss Blackman, whatever. I could serve you some vegan cake, put like 3 pieces of cake out and say, which one's vegan? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't even know, and that would really tick you off so bad, I know it would. Okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too, but you will convince yourself otherwise. Wait, you can't have your cake and eat it too, but I don't know what you mean by that, but I will convince myself otherwise. Let me think. Convince myself otherwise, that I can have my cake and eat it? Look, if I was to have my cake, I would be living a sinless life. You're right. I can't do that. That's why I have a Savior. If I could have my cake and eat it too, animals would never have to suffer. But I know that in a world where 98% of the population believes that animal abuse is acceptable as long as it creates a food product, I know I can't. But that doesn't mean I won't try. Because if I lived in a world where 98% of the people thought slavery was right, I would still be with the 2% that fought it. If I lived in a world where 98% of the world felt that beating their wives was okay, I would still stand with 2% or fight it. So if I live in a world where 98% of the world believes it's okay to eat products made from animal abuse, I'm still going to stand with that 2% and fight it. Am I going to lose? Probably. But when I take that last breath on my deathbed, I'm going to say, God, I did your will. I did the best I could with what I got. And according to the scripture, God's going to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. So maybe you don't like my answer. What am I saying? Maybe. I'm sure you don't like my answer. But I hope my answer is beneficial to somebody listening to this. But I think you might not like my answer much because my ethics are based on my faith. So that's what anybody's going to get. If anybody wants to post a comment to me, you're going to get a bunch of Bible crap shoved at you. So thank you for your post. Thank you for the chance to express some of these views. I hope other people have the opportunity to hear them and learn from them. Other activists that I work with have a chance to learn from them. And I don't know who this nice lady was, but Blackman, sir, you owe her an apology, because what you wrote, okay, that was a real jerk thing to write.